All right, where the Hebrew Israelites should come in week and week out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great. And Stevie Wonder can see World War III. Ray Charles, who is dead and gone, with his blind ass can see World War III right now. All right, we come in to wake up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird. Get you to repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, and get back to the ordinances. All right, first and foremost, and as always, all praise is due to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Akadah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS, the elder bishops of GMS, all the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, tabernacle of David. All right, so, and the handwriting been on the wall. And the men of the Lord, right now we're in a time zone where everybody knows that we're right and they're scared. Just same time zone that Bishop Nate is in concerning the MOT to the B. He knows now, he can see it. Now he's like, okay, well now how do we go out in here and tell these men that they were right? So just like indicative, I'm not saying he is of the 2/3, but indicative of the 2/3, indicative of these heathen that have been watching us, laughing, fanning their hand. They see the destruction now. They see that there's no way out. They see ain't gonna be no peace and safety. They see that the East Edomites and the West Edomites are locked in, embroiled in a situation that neither one is going to back down. It's only escalating, okay? The latest escalation, whatever it is, okay, is the truck bombing on the bridge, okay, which was like a week behind the pipeline bombing. Okay, so whoever's doing this, right, doesn't matter who's doing it. Okay, now that's on the ground. Above is the Most High's doing. As above, so below. The Most High is moving pieces on the chessboard, embroiling Satan to be divided against himself, and as a result, his kingdom is falling before our eyes. And the scriptures are going to come out, but you know what? Hey, these scriptures have been coming out. And I got to say this, and this is no slight on any man of the Lord, any potential man of the Lord, any hopeful elect. Okay? But my thing, right, or my lot, or my measure has been about this war. Okay? And you can see different brothers out there that, you know, have a penchant for the war thing, if you will. And it's usually the brothers that have been in the military, okay? And because, I mean, you've seen that you are part of that apparatus, and to be part of that apparatus, right, means that you understand certain things. You understand that you were part of a parallel universe, okay? You weren't under the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. You weren't under the penal code. okay? You weren't under the law of the land. You were under the UCMJ, okay? And which stands for the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's a whole different system. It's a whole different law system. And it's run in parallel and in conjunction with what they call the civilian world, okay? And to have been a part of that and to navigate that thing and to get out with an honorable discharge, right? You understand things about that parallel world. It's a different world. It's hard to explain. You have to know it by experience to get the understanding of what I'm trying to explain here, all right? And because you understand that, because you've been a part of it through experience, you know things about war, about the military. You know things instinctually by experience that another brother just can't know. And I'm not exalting that. It just is what it is. Okay. And by default, if you've been in this military, when you see the things that are going on, like I was out so long ago, when I saw the Gulf War come, I was like this, woo, just missed it. But I know what they're doing. I didn't go to combat. I didn't see combat. I didn't have somebody firing at me while I was firing at them. Trained how to do it, so there's levels to that thing, okay? Some brothers have been fired upon, right? The brother Barack, I believe his name is Barack Allah in L.A., that's one. The elder Malcolm, the brother Samak down there, and there's certain individuals, when I see and when I hear them, okay, it's because they've been in the military. This brother, what's his name? Forget his name. The brother, he's not in GMS proper, but he's an affiliate, and you could tell he was a drill sergeant. What's his name? He just visited the LA area, the LA camp, and he was going on about that. But he speaks. When he speaks, you can tell he was a drill sergeant. Okay, he speaks with that authority. He speaks like he's talking to his men, right? And you see that. You understand what a drill sergeant. What's this brother's name? I can't think of it right now. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So you know, and you could tell he's an infantryman. He's got this long rifle in his home. He does his Ibad. What is it? Something Ibad. It'll come to me. Anyway, the point I'm making is that when you see wars jump off, when you saw the Twin Towers come down, and they said that they found Saudi Arabian Amawan Ibad is the brother's name. Amawan Ibad. All right. You could tell he's a drill sergeant. Okay. And probably got out. He probably got out as an E7, a master sergeant. You know, you could tell. He probably retired from the military. All right. But my point was when you're trained to that level, you understand what you're looking at on the battlefield. Here we are in Babylon, and we see, again, when the Twin Towers came down, they said that the Saudi Arabians did it because this guy, what's his name? The one that was in the caves of Tora Bora. I can't think of his name now. These names. Tim Osman. Osama bin Laden. Okay? Osama bin Laden was a Saudi Arabian. The so-called hijackers were Saudi Arabians. So why, and this, so you got to understand your enemy when you're on the battlefield. Okay? And so, why did not America go straight to Saudi Arabia and start bombing and strafing? And instead, they went straight to, which they said, well, bin Laden was in a cave in Tora Bora with a laptop computer, and he orchestrated the whole Twin Towers falling with a laptop in a cave. All right. That's what they said. They didn't go to Saudi Arabia. They went to Afghanistan because bin Laden was in a cave with a laptop tearing shit up. Okay? So that was their excuse for going into Afghanistan instead of Saudi Arabia. Were the Saudi Arabians that got on the plane and took the planes down, were they in a cave in Tora Bora in Afghanistan? They were Saudi Arabians. When they showed pictures of them, they had on their garment, the little head scarf or whatever. Okay? No, they were not in Afghanistan. And Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with it. So why did they go straight and do a shock and awe? Okay, we understand when we see that. All right? Because we were trained, and some of us saw that action. All right? So when they're doing certain things and then they're telling these lies, like, for example, hey, within your platoon, within your company or whatever, you understand friendly fire. You understand what happened to Pat Tillman, okay? Because they speak about it in training. Like, you better not be in, when we go to war, you better hope you ain't in my, they will shoot you. They make plans within the platoon, within the squad itself. They're already speaking about that shit before you get deployed. So who are you going to be in a foxhole with? And then, watch Platoon. Okay? When you watch Platoon and you've been in this, you understand, these dynamics and these, oh, look at those blackbirds. You understand what you're looking at. Okay? So, right now, okay, this escalation, this brother made a great video, Las Vegas sit-downs. He made an awesome video. And all it was he brought together a bunch of different clips showing you that the world, not just Eastern Europe, but the whole world is spiraling out of control into World War III. All right? And again, one of the biggest things that has happened in the last week, with everything that's going on, niggas shooting missiles at each other and stuff, missiles blowing up on the launch pad or whatever. All right, with everything going on, just within the last week, okay, the destruction of the pipeline, Nord Stream, and then this bridge incident that happened last night for me on the West Coast. It happened last night at like 12 o'clock. Okay? And I thought, because I had a long day at work, I worked straight 12-hour shift. By the time I got home, I'm like, well, let me look and see if I'm missing it. The Spirit was on me. Look and see if you've missed anything, because I was just, old man tired and constant. So when I had a chance to look up, the Spirit was on me, said, look up. And then I'm like, well, I missed 12 hours. What did I miss? And right there, the first couple of videos, an hour after it happened, came in about the bridge, and I'm like, oh, there it is, right? And I was only an hour behind. Nothing had happened up to that time, but that's huge, okay? And here's how they're trying to spin it. Well, we don't know who did it. It was a truck full of explosives. Somebody tried to say it was one of the oil cars exploded. No, too much damage. That was a lot of explosive to bring that whole thing, that whole section of the bridge down. That wasn't a oil car exploding. Okay? We know what we're seeing. Okay? When you've worked with explosive, you understand C4 and a blasting cap. Okay? You got a little demo under you. Okay? You understand things. You can see a spin. You can see disinfo. You can see propaganda. You understand certain things. Now, it doesn't work like that. You understand? The brother Samak out there in Florida, what he does, if you watch him, he makes war type videos. And when he does it from the perspective that he's been there. He's been on the battlefield. So his perspective and his lessons are really good. And it's because he's been there. And you can't take that away. You can't explain it away, That's the spirit that the Most High put on that brother, right? To, number one, warn the people, to let brothers know, okay? And you can't demonize that, all right? For me, here's what I'm, trying to get at, and I haven't brought out one scripture yet. But when I came into this thing, right, years back, short time for me, short time for brothers that have been in this thing. That's irrelevant, but my point is, it's been a while, and for me, it has always been the military aspect of this truth, because this whole book is about war. This whole book is about a war. A war for what? A war for the kingdom of heaven. All right? That really we don't even deserve. And I'm saying Jake don't deserve it. We fucked up bad, and we still have a chance. We've been given a second chance, and through much pain and tribulation shall we come into the kingdom, paraphrase, all right? The saints shall take the kingdom. How are you going to take it? War. The Most High is a man of war. You can't explain war out of this situation. The whole situation is war. The whole situation is the military. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is a military. The greatest military. The angels are a military. The chariots are war chariots. How do you take the military aspect? How do you fix your mouth to say that somehow You in the wrong spirit because you're speaking about war. And that was years and years and years ago. Okay. Now it's all about war. How is Esau's kingdom going to come to an end? Through the art of war. Okay? Sun Tzu ain't got a goddamn thing on Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Everything is about the whole chessboard. What is playing chess? Oh, 3D chess, 5D chess. What is the chessboard? What is the checkerboard? It's the fucking battlefield. Okay? And if the Most High brought you into this, the Most High, see, you don't, here's how I see it. Okay? I always knew when I was a kid I was going to go to the service. My dad, oh, you need to go, he would say certain things. I'm like, okay, well, one day, when it's time for me to get the hell out of here, I'll just go to the service. And then that day came. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was something that I had to do because of the situation. Okay? And so there I was. Right? And then when you look back and you come into the truth, you're like this, oh, okay, now I get it. The Most High did that. He put me in that thing, right? And this goes for every brother that is in this truth that has been in the military. The Most High put you in that thing for now, okay? Not to pull up no weapon and go out marching, This is your weapon. Like your boy, see, we know things, like Dimcad. You got your boy Dimcad, who may be an Edomite, because he got guns all around. Oh, gun, gun, gun. And here's what he's saying. This nigga got a gun in every shot. He got a gun on the wall. He got a long gun. He got a pistol right next to the long gun. Then he's got a pistol over here. A pistol over here. He's got extra rounds, mags. He's got mags strapped all to him. And this gun, this is a good gun. And my gun and my gun. See, what happened was he wanted to go to the military and he didn't make it. And here's how we know that. Okay? He's gun-ho, right? Hoorah. But he keeps calling his weapon a gun. And anybody that went to the military knows better through many, many, many leaning rest sessions, all right? Even to say the leaning rest. What is the leaning? Front leaning rest position. Huh! What is that? What is the front leaning rest position? That's the military way of saying you finna do a bunch of fucking push-ups. So if you want to be, and you don't even have to push up. All you got to do, they put you in the leaning rest. What is the leaning rest? That's when you're about to do a push-up. You're not down yet. You're just like this. Front leaning rest position, boom. And you don't start until they say, start, and they start counting them off. You're just stuck like that. Now, see how long you could call it planking, right? If you get put in the leaning rest, they could just sit there and wait until you break down. Okay? So here's what you don't do. Here's what you learn. One of the first things you learn in the military is you don't call your weapon a gun. Oh, my gun, this is a good gun, and I shoot this gun all the time. I take this gun to the... This is my weapon. This is my gun. This one's for killing. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? So a military person sees another military person, sees a soldier. You can see a soldier by the way he walks, by the way he does things, by the way he talks, by how smart he is. There's a lot of dumbasses in the military, but you've been trained, okay? The Most High. See, a military person recognizes the warrior. Okay, what's the root of the word warrior? War. Okay? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is a man of war. And again, I'm not exalting myself. I'm trying to give clarity into the phase of the truth that we're in right now. Okay? We're in this phase. World War III. Okay? World War III. All right? So it's relevant. What's being said now is relevant. It was relevant 10 years ago. It's always relevant. Okay? So a military man, he sees the Most High as a military man. What is the Most High doing? Okay? And I try to put this in perspective. This is Joel 3. I always say this because when you put it in perspective, it's everything. And the Most High is not new to this. What has been done before and will be done again. Paraphrasing. Joel 3 and 2. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read that as I always do. I'm going to read it in the NLT, and it's going to give you more clarity as to what that means. When you say all nations, right, you're thinking of well, everybody's going to be gathered in the valley of Yahushua to be judged. Okay, so Joel. Slocket, bear with me. Okay. Now again, I'm gonna read it again. Salah. In the King James, and listen to the difference. All right. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Now I'm gonna read it in the NLT. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That goes into all nations. All nations' armies are going to be gathered together in one place. Now, to a military man, especially a grunt, not a truck driver or a cook, but an infantryman, whether it be a Marine, a gyrene, a fucking jarhead, that's what we call them. Nothing wrong with a jarhead. He's a grunt too. Okay? Grunts have an affinity. Anyway, if you're a battlefield soldier, straight leg infantry, you understand when an ambush is being explained to you. Okay? So, I read a scripture. All right? So anyway, it's an ambush. I'll read it again, try to put it together. Read it out the NLT. Salakia. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why is he gathering all the armies in one place? So that he can take down all the armies of the world in one fell swoop. He's going to gather them into the strike zone. Okay? And then, because they're like this, oh, well, we're just fighting each other. No. Then Yahushua and the angels are going to appear out of the fourth dimension. And those guys are all going to be gathered together in one place. In the strike zone is the valley of Yahushua. All right? Right now, there are like 4, maybe 5 different theaters of war. Okay? Let's name some. Okay? The Valley of Yahushua, which is the Middle East. Eastern Europe. Okay? The Korean Peninsula. South China Sea, that's 4. I could get one more easily. All right? Those theaters are spread apart, making it a world war. The Most High is going to do is he's going to get them all to come to the same spot. And it's saying it right here. Read it again. Joel 3:2. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people. What is he going to do? He's going to do exactly what he did to Pharaoh. Okay? What did the Most High do to Pharaoh? Well, he led Pharaoh and Pharaoh's army, right? See, because Pharaoh went heads up with the Most High, went to war with the Most High. He sent Moses and he said, hey, he sent Moses to say, hey, look, you don't want to fuck with the Most High, do you? He said, well, maybe you're right. Moses did some things. He did some miracles. And Pharaoh said, well, I got that. Send in Jannes and Jambres. And that was the Cold War, if you will. Okay? That was a little Cold War. And he said, well, show me your power. Show me your God's power. He said, I could do what your God can do. Until that snake got his ass eaten up by the staff, right? And then he was like, oh, shit. And then the plagues, right? He's like, damn, the firstborn. I mean, you could go back to Cecil B. DeMille. That nigga was, he was broken. When his son, he put the sun on that bird, as he said, Moses' God is stronger than, he knew. But what happened? The Most High hardened his heart. His heart is his mind. The Most High mind controlled him like he's doing right now with Vlad, with Zelensky, with Biden. He's doing exactly the same thing. What did the Most High do? Oh, you want a war with me, nigga? I got MK Supreme. He made Pharaoh run him and his army's ass right into the strike zone, into an ambush. Most High held back the waters on either side and set out the bait. Children of Israel got all the way across. Moses, Salakia, Pharaoh's dumbass, and his whole army go right down into the motherfucking strike zone of an ambush. And, I mean, you wouldn't see it that way. The way I'm describing what happened is exactly what happened. It was an ambush. What happened at the Red Sea, the battle, see, here's what they don't call it. The battle at the Red Sea. Okay? It's no different than Armageddon. Somebody is stupid enough to go to war with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And not stupid, but brainwashed or mind controlled, if you will. Nigga, you're gonna yet durst fight. And we're watching slowly come together. The next thing we're gonna watch is how, and here's something that happened last week too. The OPEC situation. When that OPEC, and you don't have to be a military man to understand this, but when the OPEC deal, when these Saudis, again, turned their back and said, fuck you, Joe Biden. Fuck you. They said, fuck you, Brandon. Okay? What is that doing? That's setting up the last battle. Okay? If you understand what happened in Pearl Harbor, which I used to live right outside of Pearl Harbor. Okay? I used to run to the Koli Koli Pass in Wahiwa, right? We used to run up the mountain, big old cross up there. That's where the Japanese flew their planes through right before they headed to Pearl Harbor, which was it was a setup. Okay? Why did the Japanese fly into Pearl Harbor and start tearing shit up? One word. Oil. It was about oil. Or let's call it energy. Because natural gas today is classified as, you could think of it as, somebody's waiting to split hairs, and you could do that. Right? But it's about energy, which is what oil is. Is it gas that they went after? Because gas is a derivative of oil once you refine it. Natural gas, it's all energy, all right? It's about oil. It's about, let's just call it oil. What is Nord Stream about? Let's call that natural gas. Let's just call it oil. So what happened with OPEC is monumental to World War III. If Japan bombed Pearl Harbor because of oil and an embargo, because they were desperate on some oil shit, right? What is Germany about to do? What is Europe about to do because of Nord Stream? What is America about to do because Saudi Arabia goes like this? Joe Biden, what about that oil, nigga? But we had a deal. Our deal came to an end when? When did it come to an end? 2019? We got to make a new deal, and we ain't making no motherfucking deal. Hey, fuck you. Fuck me? Fuck me? Nigga, I'm not protecting you no more. Yeah, you're not protecting us, but guess what? Be thou a guard unto them. I got my protection. Be thou a guard unto, I made a new deal. I got Vlad. Nigga, we got this oil. We got oil here. You niggas are gonna freeze. Okay? We're gonna what? No, we can pull out these bombs. First we're gonna arm your enemies. Right? This is how Babylon gets done. Where is this going? 3 things. Forgot OPEC. OPEC, oil. Nord Stream, oil. gas. And then this bridge situation. You know what they tried to say? Well, one of the oil cars exploded. It's funny that some oil cars are fucking on the bridge itself. Does that have anything to do with oil? How is Russia exporting that oil? Why do you think they went and took Crimea? Okay? Why do you think they made Nord Stream 2? This is about energy. What was World War II about? The natural resources of the world. Japan was like, no, nigga. Oh, we can't get that oil? Then we gotta fight. United States got reserves of oil. Where's that going? Do you know? The United States owes China so much money. The United States is like, look, all our oil belongs to them. We ain't got no damn oil. They gotta go to war. It's about oil. It's about the petrodollar. How did this place become rich? The oil dollar. That's crashing and burning right now. Okay? That's on the way out. So do you see where this thing is going? It's all about the military. It's all about war. How is Esau's kingdom going to be destroyed? War. Okay. Hey, we got the best armchair warriors on the planet are the men of the Lord that went to the military. Amawanabad. You can best believe he knows. You know, and you know what? He's probably being careful with that. Because Esau knows how dangerous that brother is. And the Most High got him. You know. I'm not trying to bring attention. I'm just, hey, if you've been in this thing, hell, I've been out of the army longer than most brothers have been alive. 40 years. I'm 40 years out of the service. Okay? So whoever's not 40, I was in and out before you were born. That was a long time ago, you know. And some things, you know, never leave. Let me say this. In order to get a man, right, to pick up a weapon and charge downfield at his enemy who has a weapon and he's charging at you, you have to do a thorough job of mind control on that person. So what it takes, right, for you to do that. These people that go to war, they take you to basic training, they cut all your hair off, they belittle you, they tear you all the way down, then they reconstruct you into somebody who's gonna go down there with a gun while being shot at and try to kill somebody. You're basically a fucking maniac, you know? And there's a time and a place for everything under the sun. Okay? Let's get there. Since I'm talking too much. And I'm just trying to set up, you know, what's going on, why, how, okay? How? Well, how is the Most High going to destroy all the armies? It's called an ambush, right? And here's how he's setting it up. You know how he set up Pharaoh and his army? He's doing the same thing. Ecclesiastes 3, which they made a song about it, the birds, right? And I read this in the Memoirs of Billy Shears, which is an excellent book that I recommend that any man in the truth, you should read a book called The Memoirs of Billy Shears. If you understand who Billy Shears is, he's Paul McCartney, or the guy that took over for Paul McCartney, right? Because the Beatles were a military operation by the Tavistock Institute. And the record label that that the Beatles were on was called EMI, which stands for Electronic Musical Industries, which is a subsidiary of the British military industrial complex. And this guy, Paul McCartney, when he goes in front of the Queen and she puts the tip of her sword on his shoulder, what he's doing is he's moving up in the military ranks of the British military. Now you have become a knight in service of the Queen. So what was he doing? And he's telling you everything he has done, and he says the New World Order, this is about the New World Order and conspiracy, and the whole book is about, and he's telling you everything that he has done from the time he took over for Paul McCartney when they put his ass to death. And the whole book is about the New World Order, the Great Conspiracy, the Great Reset, and all of that shit. What's up, brother? You got a question? Just listen. I got a question. You're Native American?
Yes.
Okay, on your dad's side or your
Mom's side.
dad? Mom? And your dad Mexican?
Dad's German and Russian. My mom's Mexican.
Your dad is German and Russian?
My mom's Mexican American.
So do you know what that makes you?
Tell me.
Well, I'll start here. Okay? If I had a lemon seed, right? And I planted that lemon seed wherever I went in the world, I plant that lemon seed, what is going to grow out of the ground?
Lemon seed would try to.
I beg your pardon?
Lemon seed would try to.
If I plant a lemon seed wherever I go, a lemon tree is going to grow. Right? You know why? Because it's a seed. Okay? Now, another word for sperm is seed. Okay, so a male carries seed. The woman is likened unto the earth. So when you plant your seed in that woman, whatever seed that is, that's what fruit is going to come in. So what you just told me is that you're a Russian or German, right?
Russian. My dad's Russian and German.
Okay, so you could either be one of those two. Okay. Now, let me say this. You believe in God? No? And that's okay.
I believe that we are our own higher power.
We are our own higher power. Let me ask you this. Do you know that the human body is like a supercomputer? Huh?
Yes, sir, I do.
Right? Okay, you got the hard drive, you got the memory, right? And we don't have any wires, right? And we have independent thought, right? Okay. Now, you know who Bill Gates is? Do you know who the other guy, the Apple guy?
Steve Jobs.
Jobs. Okay. Did they not build that computer? They started out with a little box, right? A prototype, right?
I believe so.
And now They got the internet, and they got all of this shit and computer stuff. Now you got one. Is this not a computer?
Yes.
In your hand. That's how far they've got. So my point is that somebody made that. It just didn't happen on its own. So if you're a supercomputer, okay, and let me tell you this, a man can't make a supercomputer like this. It's gotta be an intellect. So if you think about this, we were just talking about it. If a man can put his seed in a woman and a baby comes out of that situation, that happened on its own. When you think about it, did a man do that, or did that just spontaneously happen on its own, or did somebody create that whole process and it's beyond our ability to think? Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Okay, so that's when you get into something called God. Because only He can do that. We don't understand it. We don't understand a damn thing. We don't even know who we are. Because shit has been so flipped upside down, if you will. Okay? Now, back to God. All right? God created everything. Okay, the grass grows and, we eat something to get energy and nourishment, and then we go poop and pee and keep going until your ass fucking dies and they put you in the ground, right? Somebody did that. You know what I'm saying? That's a complex system of organs, and somebody did that. You grow from a baby, you don't know nothing, and then somebody programs that computer. Then you go out, you think you know everything, right? We all went through that. And then you have to contemplate, well, shit, you got kids? No? Because if you did have kids, they would be Russian Germans. Now, here's the bad part, okay? God that you don't believe in, He's got a chosen people. First of all, God made everybody, right? Let me ask you this. Is there some people in Israel right now calling themselves the Jews? You know about that? Are you asleep now? Excuse me?
I'm here listening.
Okay, do you know about the Jews over in Israel right now?
I don't know about what's going on here.
Do you know about those people that call themselves the Jewish?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so that right there qualifies the Bible. Because those people, they're over there, you know what they're saying? We're God's chosen people, the Jews. Right? So that qualifies God. The fact that they're over there, right? And the fact that they're calling themselves the Jews and that somehow they're God's chosen people, that qualifies God. It qualifies what it says in this Bible. Because in this Bible it says the Jews are God's chosen people. And not just the Jews. Okay? Because the Jews are one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay? So whoever's saying, well, I'm a Jew, basically saying I'm a Jew means one of two things. It means that you're one of the 12 tribes, or that you're one of the 3 tribes that were there when they were calling us Jews. Okay? So, but my point is that that's going on the face of the earth right now. And guess what? The whole world recognizes them as a country, as a state. So, whether there's any truth to it or not, that's going on. And let me tell you something about this place they call America. America will go to war for these people called the Jews. They're like, oh, motherfucker, we got them nukes. You know what's going on in the world right now? Them nukes. Here's what's going on right now as we speak. You know what's trending right now in the world? Them nukes. And like I said, Israel or America will drop them nukes, not for America, but for Israel. For these people calling themselves. So how much more does that qualify this book that says God has a chosen people called? It qualifies. Why would America go drop their nukes? Not even for America, but they will drop them quicker for these people calling themselves the Jews. And you know what? I wouldn't want to talk to me either. Because this truth is going to force you to think about what's really going on. And let me tell you this. If I was an Edomite, I goddamn sure wouldn't want to hear the truth, especially when that truth is this. Them motherfucking nukes are trending right now. Hard.
How you doing?
Good, you?
All right.
Them nukes are trending hard right now. You know why? Because they're about to burn a lot of motherfuckers' asses up. And the men of the Lord, the true Jews, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the Speckled Birds, we're happy as hell that them nukes are gonna fly and cause an acronym by the name of MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction. We're happy about that shit. Because you got some people over in our land claiming to be us in the greatest case of stolen identity that has ever happened on the face of the earth, right? What are they doing? Well, they're stealing land. They're committing a genocidal campaign. It sounds very familiar to what happened right here in North America. Very familiar. Who does that? Who goes to somebody's fucking country, claims it as their own, and starts killing everybody there to steal the fucking land? Who does that? Well, there's only one answer. The motherfucking devil does that. Okay? The original red man, see, because the Native American, he got dark brown skin like me. But you got somebody walking around calling themselves white, and nobody in the world is black nor white. You are either one shade of brown or you're one shade of red. You could be pink and your ass is red. I make you real mad and you'll show your true colors. And the guy with the horns on his head and the pitchfork in the tail, guess what? His ass was red. And guess what? His ass is still red. Let's get some context here. This is Genesis 25. And 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, all right? I'm going to jump down to 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So Rebekah couldn't get pregnant. She was infertile, all right? So Isaac went to the seer to speak to the Most High, and he said, hey, can you like hook it up so my wife could get pregnant? And the Most High said, yep, I'm gonna hook it up. Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire. She said, what the hell, nigga, is going on? There's a war going on inside of my belly. What the hell? Can somebody give me some clarity on what this war is all about? Okay? And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. He didn't say 2 babies, 2 children. He said 2 nations. Two nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Uh-oh. That word serve, what does that mean? That's a scary word in today's language, right? Because when the word slavery comes up in America, right? After all the shit that done went down right here, okay, in good old America, hangings and lynchings and hanging women upside down and cutting the baby out and stomping on it and bashing their head up against a rock. What happened to the Native Americans, who are Israelites, by the way, the tribe of Gad? What happened? Well, that's the same war that was going on in Rebecca's belly. So let's find out. Let's read on. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Uh-oh. We got a red man, the original red man. So if I was red, right, how would I hide myself? What lie could I tell to make somebody believe that I'm not actually red? Well, let's start right here. Okay. Me, myself, the brother Yashawan right here, standing here, I'm not black. I'm clearly brown. So that whole thing about black and white, that's a goddamn lie. Because nobody is the color black. I'm clearly brown, but a motherfucker can't wait to call me black. That's a lie. And nobody is the color white. Is white even a color? Nobody's that color. I'm white and you're black and I'm better than you. Nope. You're not white. And I'm not black. I'm clearly brown. Like any Mexicano or Native American. You want to say that the Native American is red. Native American ain't red. I can't tell a Mexicano from a Native American. They're both brown. Okay? Bible says that this guy Esau came out red all over. Like the guy with the horns on his head, the pitchfork, and the tail. Okay? The Bible also said that this red guy was fighting against God's chosen, the nation of Israel. In the womb they were fighting. That's where the war began. Okay? So you can't lie to a man of the Lord. He's looking at you like this, I know you don't want to hear this truth. You don't want to hear this truth. What happened is you brought your ass over here, why? Because the Spirit of the Lord brought you over here. And you could be fast asleep, thinking that you're not hearing a damn thing I'm saying. I think my English is pretty good. What do you think? I'm not mumbling, am I? Even in your subconscious. All right, guess what? Let's get this first. Let's get man's going are of the Lord. You think you could come down and sit up under the camp, and you're not getting this truth, bad or good? Man's goings Proverbs 20. Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So when you wind up at the camp and you want to take a siesta under a tree, and you could either be fast asleep or you could be ear hustling. It doesn't matter. One way or the other. Okay? The Bible just said man's goings are of the Lord. How did you wind up here? Well, the Most High brought your ass over here to either hear or not hear this word. Let's take it a step further. This is Job 33 and 15. In a dream, that means you're asleep. So either you might be asleep and think you're not hearing what I'm saying, or you could be acting like you're asleep and ear hustling. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed. Hey, you can't fuck with this word. It's lucky. Let me start again. I'm going to start at 14. No, 15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're asleep or not. We've already established two things. Why did you come over here? You were led over here by the Spirit to hear the words of the Most High, who's speaking through his men, the prophets. Okay? Whether you're asleep or whether you're wide awake. Okay? What did he want you to hear? This. World War III is upon us. World War III is going to end in nuclear fire. That time, with every hour that passes, that shit's speeding up. The days are getting shorter. And the hour of temptation is upon us. What is the hour of temptation? Okay? That's when every man is going to be forced to bow down to the New World Order by putting that C-hip in your hand or in your forehead. Okay? And right after that, while that's jumping off pretty good, World War III is going to escalate. All the armies of the world are going to be gathered together in the Middle East for that great ambush. All the armies of the world will be subdued, put down by the so-called aliens in their spaceships. The so-called aliens and their spaceships are actually Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and the angels, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus, in their spaceships. And the armies of the world don't have a chance. And shortly after that, the governments of the world, right, they're going to say, oh, well, shit, we don't have no more military. What now? The aliens which are not little green dwarves with bug eyes. Nope. They look just like the main angel, whose name is Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the original angry black man. See, here's that truth. Here's that truth that the devil, okay, Esau, the so-called white man, see, he called himself the white man. So he's so-called white. He's not white, he's red. The Edomites, what are they afraid of? Well, they're afraid of UFOs, for sure. Well, what are we going to do with this UFO thing? Well, we got to make up a lie, and we got to make one up quick. They're little green men that are coming back to kill everybody. Well, there's the lie. It's mixed with some truth, okay? Well, what's the truth? Well, they are coming back to kill, but not everybody. How do you, okay, what is the opposite of this, okay? Deception is a lie, okay? And the word devil means deceiver. The great deceiver. What does he got to do? He's got to flip that shit upside down. Okay, well, let's start at the top. God is white. Jesus is white. If Jesus is white, his dad has to be white. And not only that, not only is Jesus and God white, they love everybody. Especially the white, so-called white man who has done nothing but go out, steal people's land, and commit a genocidal campaign across the world. What's going on in Israel right now? What's happening to the so-called Palestinians, which the ancient name is the Philistines, which they were Hamites? Can you figure your way through this menagerie of lies and deception? Does anybody know who they are? Well, you're black, but I'm not black. Well, you're an African, but I'm not an African. Try call it a Chinese man, a Japanese, and watch your ass get whooped. Just because they look alike don't mean they're the same people. See, motherfuckers are stupid, is what it comes right down to. And why is a motherfucker stupid? Because this devil got a short season to go out and deceive the nation. And he has done a magnificent job. Let's give the devil a hand. He's done a great job. But guess what, devil? Your time is up. And the scripture said, the elder shall serve the younger. What does that mean? Well, I thought I heard the word slavery somewhere. Oh, that word serve. Servant. It goes back into slavery. So let's see who's the elder, and let's see who's the younger. Because I can't wait to have some slaves. Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So Esau was the firstborn. He said the elder shall serve or be a slave to the younger. And here we are. right at the precipice of the end of the world as we know it. See, that's just like qualifying the so-called white man or the so-called black man. Okay? Well, I don't want to be here for the end of the world. Well, there is no end of the world. There is the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Eye of a hurricane, watch your whole world churn. Right? Leonard Bernstein. Right? It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. No, we're at the end of this world, and the next world, I'm going to have slaves. And I'm going to beat my slaves senseless to the point of death. And then I'm going to nurse them back to health. And I'm going to do it all over again. And you know what that's going to be called? It's going to be called righteous. And you know what the kingdom, that kingdom, right? Not this one. We're at the end of this kingdom, the world as we know it. The next kingdom coming in, kingdom come, thy will be done. It's talking about the kingdom of heaven. But it ain't heaven for everybody. Not those slaves. See? Servants. See, because not too long ago, guess what? We were the slaves. We were the servants. And guess what? We were getting our asses whooped, hung, destroyed, all manner of shit. What happened to us? Well, the devil went fucking buck wild on our ass. Did he not? It's amazing that I can stand here in the middle of this fucking park and say what the hell I want to without being strung up like in the old days. My, have times changed. And guess what? There's a prophecy in this Bible that tells you that that would happen. Let's see if we can find that. Songs, right? Songs 5. Let's hear that beautiful song. Now it's wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon, 5:1. Then shall the righteous man, whoa, there it is. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Here we are, standing in great boldness before our enemies, telling them what will befall them in the kingdom of heaven. Well, pretty much what you did to us. You know that little word karma? Ever heard of that? What is the statute of limitations on murder? Well, there's an answer to that. The statute of limitations on murder is infinity. And one day to God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, is as 1,000 years. So let's say for the last 700 years, who has been raping, robbing, and murdering everybody on the face of the earth, stealing the land, committing all type of acts of abomination. Who's been doing that? Well, a lot of people. But who's spearheading? Let's okay. If there was any righteousness on the face of the earth, who's in charge of the earth right now? Who's running this shit? At the highest levels of any government, is there an African sitting up there? Is there a so-called black man sitting up there? No. He ain't running shit right now. Okay? Right now. But whoever is running this shit right now, guess what? They got missiles aimed at each other. And it's the end of the world as we know it. Because if Satan be against Satan, his kingdom cannot stand. I'm going to paraphrase. So this is it. This is it. Like Michael Jackson said, right before they put his black ass to death. Nigga, this is it. Second Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world as we know it, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau is the what? Esau is the end. It's the end of the world. Who is it? Esau is the end of the world as we know it. Meaning his kingdom is over. There's only one thing left. Well, there's two things left. The microchip and the missiles. And the spaceships. Forgot about the spaceships. See, years ago we used to look crazy out here for talking about the spaceship. Right? Now, even the devil himself can't explain it away. He's got to qualify it. He's got to flip it and put his spin on it. Here it is, this motherfucking devil can fly across the sky in a jet. But the Most High, God, can't have it. Oh, God doesn't need a spaceship. Well, he's got one, nigga. And it is what it is. Check this thing. Look at Paul Bunyan. Rumpelstiltskin. Look at Rumple. Rumplements. Ear hustling. It's all good. All good, Rumple. That's why the camp took a turn. Right? All Edomites. See, it used to be cool to be white. Oh, I'm white. Okay. All right. Well, guess what? Shoe is on the other foot. When I mean the shoe, I mean that hardcore slavery. Chattel. Nigga, you know what chattel is, nigga? Hardcore chattel slavery is coming back. And guess what? The men of the Lord that are about to get this spiritual power, and Lord willing, I'm one, we're going to whoop ass on this side. All right? Hancock is a beautiful movie up to the point where they made this nigga put on a suit and fight for wickedness. All right? When he was tearing shit up, right, as a nigga, that was more aligned with what is about to take place out here. So the devil had to flip it like Close Encounters, like Independence Day. You know how this devil does. Like Book of Eli. Well, at the end, right, the prophet of the Lord with spiritual power somehow gets taken down. Nah, that's not in the book. Sorry. Gotta flip it at the end like a devil as does. Guess what? That witchcraft ain't working over here. There is no enchantment on Jacob. None. The point is that this thing is over. Okay? Just look at the war. We're on a wartime footing. Some people don't even know about the bridge. Hey, under the bridge downtown, that's where I drew some blood. I could not get enough. Second Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Uh-oh. Here's that great battle that is yet to happen. The war in heaven, in the sky. And I looked, Salaki, and when I turned, Salaki, and when he turned his countenance and looked, all things trembled that were seen under it. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, Salaki, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. We're so close to this moment right now. That passage just described all the armies of the world being dissolved into dust and smell of smoke. By the chariots of Israel, the angels, and Yahushua. And that moment is very, very close upon us. All we got is the MOTB and maybe one or two other main prophecies that are coming before we get to witness the greatest show ever on the face of this earth. And it's going to get buck-ass wild bad out here in Babylon the Great, too. Okay? We got race wars, we got civil wars, we got all kind of shit going. Famine, pestilence, motherfucking man-made bioweapons. Hey, this devil He ain't even showed his goddamn horns yet. And I can't wait till a motherfucking scoffer gets his punk ass put to death. I don't see you walking this way talking that shit. You can say what you want to say. Come over here and say that. You walking that way. And I won't shut the fuck up. I'll be right here tomorrow, motherfucker. What you got? That's what I thought. This ain't nothing new. You done seen me here before. I ain't scared of you. Do what you ain't. Oh, well, you walk over here. You dealing with God. God got this whole thing locked down. So we'll see. We'll see how well you do. See if you make it through the night. I love scoffers. Scoffers must come in the last days. This is 1 Peter 4 and 7. But the end of all things is at hand. All right? Hey, here we are. You got punk ass scoffers over here that couldn't bust a goddamn grape in a damn fruit fight. And will be quickly disarmed and and be done. But hey, lucky that this ain't the old day. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer, all right? So with that, because it's still a time for everything under the sun. And that race war is coming. And you don't understand that the angel of the Lord is encamped. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is the Most High which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Do all things without murmurings, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. All right, so with that, we're going to close this camp. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat place, same bat time. I hope the scoffers come out and hold their position. We'll see if you make it through the night. You don't understand this thing. Man's goings are of the Lord. You come and scoff. Hey, scoffers are about to start being put to death in mass number. All right? So with that, call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashem Kal Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word, in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, tabernacle of David. All right? Shalom.